Well, Pat, this is just one man's opinion. The Timberwolves shot 34%. They held an opponent on the road to 97 points. They barely lost. I'm putting it in the moral victory bin here. So for me, it's 0-0-1 to start the season in my world.
0-1, 0-0-1. That's good. You know what, though? We were sticky. We were sticky again. We did it sticky.
Yeah.
I like Chris Finch, but every time he says sticky, I like to go up and put him in a headlock. I'm sick of hearing about the ball got sticky. Well, unstick the damn thing and tell Anthony Edwards not to take 27 shots because he's a lousy jump shooter, okay? Send him to the basket. Tell him his maximum jump shots are 6 per game. Anything, it's got to be inside 15 feet. He's a lousy jump shooter. He thinks he's a good jump shooter. That's his problem. His number one problem is he thinks he's a good shooter, and he's not a jump shooter. Great going to the basket, can hit the little mid-level one, but, and then afterwards he said, I shouldn't have shot so much. Well, have that thought in the third quarter, dummy, instead of when the game is over. And, he's never going to be the great player that everybody thinks he's going to be if he thinks that he's a fabulous jump shooter. You know who they missed last night, by the way? Taurean Prince, who was lighting it up for the Lakers the night before, making threes all over the court. They don't. Did they add any shooters when they went out and
the Wolves? Yeah, the Wolves have better and more shooters now than before. I mean, they did say goodbye to Taurean Prince, but Shake Milton can shoot. Is it Troy Brown? He only played a few minutes last night. I will say this in defense of Anthony Edwards, he was 4 for 7 from 3 last night. And he was like, what was the other? So he was 4 for 20 from inside the 3-point
arc. Anything else? Yeah. Well, you're now 0-1 against non-playoff teams. By the way, Toronto's not even going to make the play-in tournament. They stink, and they know it. They fired their coach, and so you're off to. We can't be losing to these bad teams. We gotta be more consistent and steady. There were 24 teams that played in the NBA last night. 23 of them scored more points than the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves defeated only Houston, which had 86, and they're tanking. So the only team you scored more points than is tanking, Houston. So it was a disgusting opening performance. Nothing good to say about it. And KAT and Gobert can't play together. They can't play together. You just forget it. Who gets stuck playing with Gobert? Nas?
Kyle Anderson meshes well with Gobert.
Yeah.
He meshes well, but that doesn't solve your problem of how do you get Nas and KAT on the court for, Nas has to play 25 minutes. He played, 20-some last night?
Yeah, I saw some stats that when Gobert and KAT were on the floor together, they got outscored by 14 or something, right? They were on the court for 20 minutes together last night, and per 100 possessions, which would be kind of like a full game, they were a minus 25. So yeah, well, but heck, you don't have that much invested in them. I mean, only between the two of them, $75 million. So what the heck? That's not too much, for this year, by the way. For this year.
So Phil, I think what Pat is saying is in Pat's world, the Wolves are not 0-1. They're just 0-1.
They're not, so I don't get away with that one.
I don't think you get your tie points.
I think it can be 0-1. It can be win, loss, and then god awful loss is the third category. And this is GGL. This one is pathetic loss.
Yeah. So, but by the way, between Towns and Anthony Edwards, they were 16 for 52. So 16 for 52. KAT took 10 threes, made 2 of them.
Wow.
So, but between KAT not making the threes and Anthony Edwards making nothing inside the 3-point, I will say, okay, all right, we're looking for I'm trying to pitch my case as a moral victory. 14 rebounds for Anthony Edwards is something that we've never really seen before. So
no, we haven't. That. So that's I guess we're going to turn him into a rebounder. So I thought that's why we got Gobert, but I guess not. I don't know.
He had a few. He had 13.
He had his few. Yeah, they just I don't know. I guess KAT hasn't played enough for them to have any idea how to play together. It might be that they can't, that there's no formula for them, those two guys playing together. I don't know.
So they played, I was looking this up before the game here. So they played together for, I don't know, however many games before KAT's calf injury as they were feeling it out. But you almost had to scrap all of that because he misses 52 games or whatever it was. After he came back, they only he played a little bit at the end of the regular season. They only played 118 minutes together in the postseason. So we're still sitting here a year later wondering what do they look like long term. The early evidence does not look promising, I would say.
No, not at all. So who did we say got most of McDaniel's minutes? Because
Nikhil got the starting minutes. And then Kyle Anderson probably doesn't get 30 minutes off the bench when Jade McDaniels is in there. So that's kind of how they divvied it up.
Yeah, I do think Kyle Anderson's a big help to this team, but that's a terrible way to start the season. That's just to go out there and do exactly what you said we're going to eliminate this year. Lose to a bad team and get sticky on offense. We got sticky again. Whereas sticky is the motto. Is there a team phrase for that, like United we run or United we stick or something like that?
We're too sticky.
Yeah, we're too sticky.
It's time for the Timberwolves offensive stat of the week on Bally's, presented by Elmer's Glue.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. Good. They could be ours. Yeah, one of your Wolves podcasts, you could have the Elmer's Glue.
Flagrant Howls presented by Super Glue. Yeah.
Oh well, there's 81 left, I guess, but they can't be fooling around with that play-in thing again this year. If they're not in the top 6, fire everybody. It's come on. Let's enough of this silliness, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm trying to balance. It was a really ugly first game in a lot of ways. It was also, like you said, the first of 81, and you don't really get a feel for how these teams are supposed to look until Christmas. So it's hard to balance, I guess.
I would say that it's kind of. Yeah, it takes 10, 15, 20 games probably with these. But of course, we got the big tournament coming up too, the mid-season tournament. We gotta, you go to the Target Center someday and find out, oh, this is part of a tournament. Oh, really? Okay, that's good. Only one of those games in the tournament, in the in-house tournament, is going to be a non-counting game, right? The championship game.
Championship.
Is that right?
Yes.
Everything else is kind of preset, right? I don't know.
It's in the schedule. It's within their schedule.
This is the most desperate attempt for attention that I've ever seen. Well, of course, soccer does it 25 times. I
think it might work, Pat.
Yeah.
It's gonna, but here's the thing. It's such a low bar for what's interesting the first 2 months of the NBA season.
Yes.
So, because you're competing against football, so it really is there's nothing to lose by just trying to put a different spin on the first 2 months of the season.
Let's just not have a big celebration if somebody wins.
We're hanging
if
the
Wolves
banner.
win it. There's a parade.
We're
94. We're shutting 94 down at rush hour and bringing the convertibles in the middle of a snowstorm down 94.
Don't worry, I've seen enough. They're not going to win it. Meanwhile, Rick Carlisle's Indiana Pacers. Rick Carlisle, who's the old school coach of all time, they get 143 last night. Well, you're scoring 94. You got outscored by 50 points by a Rick Carlisle team, for God's sake. Unbelievable.
Your disdain is really refreshing. I'm just enjoying this.
Yeah, this is. I thought you'd be a little more measured. I thought you might come with it's about making shots, and they shot 34%. But I'm with Judd. The disgust is refreshing here.
I told Jim Pete the other day. I said, Jim, you can steal my motto for the Wolves if you want to during the telecast. Even when they do the right thing, it's the wrong thing. That's my Wolves motto. And I didn't see anything last night to refute that. So we'll keep going on and see if we do better. But the level of optimism for this team is fantastic, though. I mean, people are, the beat people and everybody else are just really excited about this. So we'll see. I don't know. At
one point on the telecast, Carl, I think he drove the lane and did something, and Jim Pete just said, "Oh no."
And it was either you sent us a couple videos. It was either like a weird floater from 10 feet that resulted in whatever it was. It resulted in just a 3-on-1 fast break the other way.
Well, that was the thing. They gave up 34 fast break points, right? Wasn't it 34 or something like that?
It was in the 30s.
It's hard to give up 34 points when the other team only scores 97. Think how rotten Toronto had to be to get 34 fast break points and only score 97.
I know. Yeah, I think the Wolves actually had the lead going into the fourth quarter despite all of the dreck.
They were one up. Yeah, they had a good third quarter, or good end of the third quarter, and then they went in the tank again. More Nas. I want more Nas. He's got some fire, man.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he is, and then you look at some of the combos. Like he fits really well with Anthony Edwards. You can you can't really put him with Gobert. That's the problem with this is they've got these really interesting individual pieces, but they're not interchangeable really. So if like the KAT Gobert thing doesn't work, if you can't put Nas and Gobert on the court at the same time for long stretches, then you don't have many other chess moves to make. You're just hoping that. You're hoping your starting lineup can work, and then you can kind of make some moves off that.
As I said a couple of months ago to someone, on my deathbed, I am going to have two thoughts. Is there a hereafter, and why did they make the Rudy Gobert trade? Those are the two thoughts I am going to have right before they come in and say, he's gone here. Those are the two thoughts. Yeah. And I think I'll be more curious about the last second one than the first one. So
I can see Pat just pulling his family and close. Chris, I just gotta tell you one last thing.
Yes.
Why?
They're paying him $50 million. Why? Why did they?
And you're going to get upstairs, and the great man is going to say, "Even I can't tell you why that Conley character made that trade."
Nothing, man.
Pearly Gates. They said, you committed a lot of crimes against good behavior in your life, but we're going to let you in just because we want to discuss the Gobert trade with you. We don't got it figured out up here either. So.
The worst part is you're going to get up there and Sid's going to be right there MFing you about how great that trade was and how you don't understand. Let me tell you something, sir. That was a pretty good trade. Okay. Yeah. I know, Mr. Conley.
That was is he? Yeah, I guess he's still loyal to the Wolves. He was really loyal back in the day, but I guess he's still loyal. I don't know. That another one of the great moments, though, still is when he and Jack McCloskey are threatening to wrestle each other at the Isaiah Ryder Jr. press conference. McCloskey threatens to punch him. Like McCloskey's old and he's got like 20 years on Sid, but they're going to duke it out over him not drafting Calvert Cheney instead of Isaiah Ryder Jr. It was fantastic. One of the great moments. We're not going to have those moments anymore without the great man. Damn it.
No, go out on the street, right? Huh? Didn't Jack say, "Let's go out the street right now"?
Yeah, right. Well, he had a 15-year advantage on him. Trade wins Jack McCloskey. He was a beauty, too. I call him Trade wins because he never missed the Maui Classic, no matter who was playing there.
Hey, Joe, what was that video you sent out? I'm going a different direction here, but it was some old video of the Twins' 1987 championship celebration. And Tom Kelly was on camera in the clubhouse explaining how he doesn't get involved in the celebrations.
Yeah, he didn't come out for the celebration. So, but
he watched from the dugout and then he wandered out a little bit afterwards. Yeah, but he doesn't rush out or anything like that.
Somebody had a camcorder down there, and it's been tweeted out on the anniversary, which was yesterday, of just people talking to TK, and then they went and did part of the Frank viola thing and wandered around. I was looking for you, Reusse, because I'm sure you were in the clubhouse at that point. But it's just this, and it's so funny too, because, you know, it's a celebration, but it's nothing like what we see now. No one's wearing goggles. There's minimal protection for people's clothes. I mean, it's a different world as far as these celebrations go.
Well, but it was the time around here when we kind of just TV, you know, Passolt and those guys, TV became, you know, a big part of the celebration because they wanted to get champagne sprayed on them so they could be, you know, then they could send the video back, and it got increasingly you know, wild and I guess, but it was quite a place to have a celebration though in '87 when they won the ALCS in that clubhouse, which is big as your studio, trying to get the TV cameras and all the people in there. And the, you know, TK's office was like 12 by 12 or something like that, stuck back in the back and getting everybody in there. And that was when all the newspapers covered this stuff, not like it is now. Do you know what our World Series advance was in today's Star Tribune? I covered 24 straight. Some in St. Paul and then most in Minneapolis. We had 2 graphs in the scene saying who the starting pitchers are going to be in the print edition.
Yeah, I'm
sure online they have something, but you know, the fact that it's Arizona and Texas is probably part of that reason. They're gonna have some ratings that don't register. Dallas is big though. I mean, Dallas is a big market, and Phoenix is pretty good size, but there's just no. Who are these guys? I mean,
it's very anonymous. I mean, the Diamondbacks, you know, I mean, Evan Longoria is kind of a household name, but they don't have household names on that team. No. The Rangers, Max Scherzer, there's some headliners with the Rangers, but it's also part of how many Super Bowl teams. We asked this question yesterday, like, can you find a dud Super Bowl matchup? How many times would you watch a Super Bowl and say, you know what, that team that got to the Super Bowl, I can only name one player on that team, right? It doesn't happen in football.
Well, when Tennessee got there the first time, though, that was and then they ended up, you know, that was a pretty anonymous team. They've had some bad teams that go to the Super Bowl, but it's a national sport. Baseball's a regional sport. That's the problem. Baseball has become a regional sport, but you'll know that it's going to be the big talker all winter. What are we going to do about this? What are we going to, you know, it's a disadvantage. The 5 and 6 seeds are in the World Series. It's a disadvantage. And as I said the other day, Manfred's going to try to go to a 16-team playoff. That's my prediction.
Well, I was going to say, see, here's the thing, because it is a regional sport, and ratings were up, attendance was up, everything was up this year. Some of that's the new rules. Some of it's also just there's more local fan bases that feel like their team has a chance further into the season. Yeah. So this is the flip side of that hey, there's a couple fan bases, including Phoenix area and hell, all those teams in the American League West that all season felt like we have a shot. But then once you get to the end of the road in the playoffs, you might have 2 random teams that no one nationally. Yeah,
well, the disaster was Arizona beating Philadelphia. Philadelphia, Texas would have been a good World Series. There's some, you know, because Texas, you can build up that offensive team that they have that is.
Oh, yeah. And the atmosphere and everything.
And then Philadelphia gives you the, you know, 45,000 crazy people and, you know, guys that haven't been to the barber and all that stuff, you know, and Philadelphia's got appeal, but Arizona replacing Philadelphia, man. Oof.
By the way, Torey Lovello.
I don't care. I think it's fine. I mean, we got upsets in other sports and nobody gives a damn, but baseball, you know, first, the big problem is the national guys that got all the panel shows and stuff, they hate baseball. So they're going to seize on any opportunity that they have to make a big crisis out of it. I mean, Stephen A., who hasn't been to a ball game in 25 years, is going to be giving us great opinions on what the deal is.
Bounced the first pitch, though. Went and threw. He went like a month ago and threw out the first pitch at a Yankees game. Bounced it, was ridiculed nationally for it. Stephen A.
Yeah, well, that was like who was when did Spike show up at a ball game? Well, Spike showed up at a ball game. What was it? That was because of what game though? It was some chance to act like he gave a damn. I don't
like
know.
This year you're talking about?
Was it? Or was it the World?
Or 15 years ago, the last time the Yankees won the World Series?
No, it was. I can't remember what. I can't remember what it was. I don't know what it was. It wasn't basketball.
Well, the one national talking head that's on all these shows is Mad Dog Russo. Loves baseball, but he said, I think it was like a week ago on his show, that if the Diamondbacks come back from down 2-0, I will retire. I will. So we might have lost one. We might have lost a baseball ally. By the way, Torey Lovello, the Diamondbacks manager, he got a second interview. He was a finalist. It was him and Paul Molitor, and the room was split back like 7-8 years ago. He almost became the Twins manager.
Yes, and then Gardy went to work for him. But Gardy was his bench coach in 15. That's when Gardy said, I got a house in St. Paul or the Twin Cities, Lake Elmo, that my daughter's living in. And I got a house in Fort Myers that my son's living in. And I'm renting from Morneau in Arizona. I'm renting Morneau's condo in Arizona because was Morneau with the Diamondbacks briefly? No, spring training. He was spring training. He had it because he was in spring training with the Rockies. That's why. But Morneau was his landlord, and he had 2 houses, but he was paying rent to Morneau, which was pretty funny.
Yeah. Hey, happy 70th birthday to Terry Ryan today.
Really? Yeah, I got
70 years old today.
I'll have to text him on that because he texted me on my 78th the other day, and cool. And he always he's my wife, big fan of Terry Ryan. She likes him much better than me, and she was so I was. And I had to show her that. She said, he always says, how's Katie when he sends me a message. So great guy. And I'm really surprised I didn't see him at the yard hardly at all this year. Now, I don't know, maybe he came and sat in the stands because when he was still working for the Phillies, he'd sit up in the press box and watch BP, and then he'd go in the stands or something like that.
He's got grandkids playing t-ball for the first time, so I think some of those games pulled him away as a scout to go scout those games.
They do take priority. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. So what? Hey, Hastings, Mike Hastings and Motzko going at it here, right? This weekend, that series.
Thursday, Friday, not Friday, Saturday.
Tonight. Why are they starting at 8? By the way. Both games start at 8.
Probably TV.
Big Ten TV or something.
Classic Big Ten Network.
Yeah, you know what? That's too late now. The Wild on Tuesday, 8. I didn't go. It's too late. I'm too old for this crap.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Start at 7 o'clock. I'm an old man now.
Well, you go to a Wild game at 8. They drop the puck at 8:10. You get out of that ramp about midnight if you're lucky. So
again, I'm too old for that. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. TV's going to put your game on. You don't have to put it on when they want it on. They're going to have the Wild on TV, for God's sakes. You tell them. Don't let them tell you. Come on.
I'll take that under advisement. Thank you.
Okay.
Pat, we'll do it again tomorrow, all right?
All righty. We will see. I'll be calmed down about the sticky ball by tomorrow. I should. Okay. All right.
There he is.
You can start using that. This show's been a little sticky today.
It has been. Yeah, Mackey's been talking for 7 minutes. What's going on?
It's a little sticky today.
Perfect.
Goodbye.
Reusse Unchained, presented by our friends at Summit Orthopedics. If you're dealing with pain anywhere, ankles, back, neck, spine, wrists, you name it, no referrals are needed, and Summit Orthopedics offers same-day appointments. If you're really hurting, they also offer walk-in orthopedic urgent care 7 days a week from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. 25 locations in the Twin Cities and greater Minnesota. You can learn more at summitortho.com.